Hello, I'm Cynthia Gumber, Chief Marketer at SmartBear, and we are here for our Founder Series. In this episode, we're talking with the founders and the folks who started HipTest, and now known as Cucumber Studio. And this is the second part of the founding team conversations with the HipTest group. So I'm here with Laurent P., Joan Bassanet and Vincent Pret to talk a little bit about some of the initial days of growing HipTest. So Vincent, do you mind introducing yourself and talking about what you did a little bit before joining with Laurent and what you do now?
Okay, yeah, so I'm a developer since a few years now. Prior HipTest, I've done a PhD on testing, and after that, I've been working in a web agency in the Netherlands for a few years. And then I came back in France and I joined Smart Testing, where I met Laurent and John and the other guys from HipTest. So yeah, and yeah, after that, we started HipTest there. And now what I'm currently doing is mainly working on the Cucumber open source project. So yeah, developer there and mainly focusing on the Cucumber Ruby platform.
Super, and you live and work in France?
Yep.
Correct, fantastic. And Joan, how about you?
Hey. So I started as an intern in Laurent's former company, Smart Testing, as an intern in development. So I follow Laurent and the other guys from HipTest when we started our new company, and I became a product owner for HipTest, the platform. And then now I'm just back to the technical side of the force. I'm back as a developer on Cucumber Studio. And I also live in France, in the same city than Vincent.
Fantastic. So in our first episode, we talked about what the founding team was doing also before you founded HipTest, and how everybody ultimately decided to make the leap into entrepreneurship. But we're talking a little bit more about how HipTest evolved over the years, and as your own journey evolved as entrepreneurs. So can you talk about a little bit the few beginning years of HipTest and how you evolved your thinking about the company and where it went over time? So I'll start with Laurent.
Yeah, so starting a company, and HipTest was my second one, is always a great joy, because you start from the ground up, fresh context, and having the privilege to work with Johan, Vincent, Séverine, Christophe. So really awesome team, was pure joy for me. I would say compared to my first company, the biggest challenge we faced with HipTest was the go-to-market. So the product was for all the different countries, not just France or Europe. So how to crack the US market, I guess, was one of our challenge. How to crack the Atlassian marketplace. So for sure, we have a great team. We had a good idea and a great product, but how to make sure that more and more people could know about HipTest. So we have invested a lot in the Atlassian marketplace, creating a plugin to create visibility from HipTest into this ecosystem. We have attended with the team, with Vincent, Johan, and the team, to many conferences, Atlassian Summit in San Jose, San Francisco, many Star East, Star West events, trying to promote agile test management, behavior-driven development. And I think that's really what has enabled us, by focusing on the go-to-market, not just the product, to be successful and have the great pleasure of experiencing a high growth from the beginning.
Fantastic. And then as HipTest began to grow, Joanne, can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that arose, that popped up, that were new, unexpected, and how did you work together to solve them?
Yeah, for me, entrepreneurship was totally new for me, and my the big challenge we faced was as we grow, we had a lot more of customers, new customers with new profiles, with new way of working. It was just how can we take all those feedbacks and make them fit into our vision, because we had a vision for our product, for the team, for what we wanted to provide to our customers. And so we quickly react to that, and we create things like North Star metrics to ensure we still follow our vision with metrics. We started looking for patterns and pain points instead of just, releasing what people were asking directly to us. And so we just learned to say no, even if it was really difficult when you're a small company who just want to grow. That's it for me.
Fantastic. And Vincent, do you have any similar experience of things that happened that might have been unexpected as you started growing? How you, from your perspective, how you managed through that?
Yeah, for me, so as Joanne, it was the first company I started. So everything was new. What was really surprising is the way the team had grown. We started 5, and we were quickly almost 20, 15, 20, something like that. So we had to adapt a lot to that. And one thing we've always kept in the team was, let's say, self-organizing. Not like someone decide that no, the teams are organized this way or this way. We've always worked together to try to find the best solution for everyone. Sometimes it was good solutions, sometimes it was bad solutions. This kind of thing happens, but the really interesting part is we've always tried to have everyone's voice heard, which is really important. So we've grown as a team, and yeah, not letting people behind or saying this is going to be the way. So we tried a lot of things. We still have them, some of them used, but yeah, this capacity to adapt while growing, so almost 3 or 4 times bigger.
Right. Super. Laurent, do you have anything additional on that?
Yeah, I would say that one of the challenge of growing quickly is sometimes you can just lose you focus on the values of the company. I would say one thing we did really well with this team from the beginning when we started in the playroom of Severin's house was to clearly state the values of the company and the dream we had for the product, defining the 3 main criteria of the product, the DNA of the product, and it has, be our friend. This statement has been our friend it was on the wall everywhere for all the initial years of the company. So making sure we don't lose that.
Super. Yeah, and just staying true to what your vision was. For those who may not know, after 4 years of impressive growth, HipTest was acquired by SmartBear in 2018 and continues to be part of SmartBear. A lot of thought goes into decision to acquire another company, but I think more thought goes into, if you are the entrepreneurs, the decision to be acquired. And we're going to dive into that a little bit now. So how did you think when SmartBear approached you? What was exciting about the possibility? What were some careful things you had to think about? And this certainly was, a cross-border acquisition with SmartBear headquartered in the US. in Massachusetts, you're being in France. Would love to hear, what went through your mind as that process was starting.
So yeah, that was definitely a big decision for us and the team. And I remember the many hours of discussions that we had. But it was not the first time we've been approached for an acquisition. In the early days of HipTest, we've been approached by IBM. And I can tell you that we unanimously said no. we have so much fun and we don't want to join a Big Blue, especially as we know what happens with the acquisitions done by IBM. So we were kind of prepared to have other approaches. And I remember when Ryan Lloyd gave me this call and approached us. So at that time we were we were looking for fundraising, right? We did a first a round of financing, a seed round of 500K. And so it was end of 2017. I was looking for $2-3 million, so Series A, pitching investors in the US. So I was in a business roadshow in New York and San Francisco, and that's where I, for the first time, met the SmartBear team. Had the opportunity to discuss with the top management. So back to France, I shared with the team the fact that there was this interest, but also an incredible top management team. So I would say among the three decision criteria that have been super important for us, first one has been obviously the team, and the team we met with Justin and the other exec were, for me at least, super compelling reason to join SmartBear. The other one was the way SmartBear itself operates. So SmartBear has grown through many acquisitions, and each of these acquisitions teams have a lot of autonomy. And as Vincent said previously, our team was self-organized, so it was very important for us making sure we had the opportunity and the autonomy to continue to operate as we do. And the team still does a pretty awesome work deploying multiple times continuously in production. So we don't want a process or SmartBear to break things that works well. And we have, I can say now after 2 years working at SmartBear, we still have this autonomy, which is awesome. And the third thing was the vision and the ambition. So I remember we spent a lot of time with Justin talking about what's the vision for SmartBear, and I shared what was the vision that we defined together with the four other co-founders from day one of HipTest, and that was really funny. I remember to see them side to side. They were almost the same, helping teams creating great software, deploying, going to get to market faster. So it was very, very close. So we said we share the same vision and ambition. We love what we've seen from the top management team, and we love the autonomy to operate as we were doing before, but with more resources, right? And with the opportunity to collaborate with other great teams. So after, I would say, these initial discussions, the decision has been pretty quick for us.
That is great. That's what makes SmartBear so much fun to be at. We are a collection of entrepreneurs and innovators who continue to innovate. And I do believe this is a discussion for another day, but several of the groups at SmartBear took on your best practices, including Zephyr, to improve their operations. So there's just so much, cross-pollination of great ideas happening here. Makes it very exciting. Well, thank you, Laurent.
And the great thing is, when you look at SmartBear today, you have so many founders. So every single startups that we have acquired, we still have the founders, and to me, that means a lot. Right.
Yep. We've founders, and people continue to act as founders and entrepreneurs here, which is great. That brings to the next question. now, Cucumber and HipTest have recently merged and kind of relaunched as a new organization. Both companies or both groups are very much focused on collaboration and, you know, as you say, self-organized teams. Recently, Cucumber Studio was launched, also Cucumber for Jira, Cucumber Studio for Jira on the Atlassian marketplace. So now there's about 10 founders across both groups working on Cucumber Studio. Can you talk a little bit about how that happened, how you came to collaborate with the Cucumber teams and how you're working together? And this is across multiple countries and time zones and languages. So how has that process been? And I can start with, how about Vincent?
Yeah. So yeah, the first thing to know is, well, we have the chance to be on not that much time zones. Most of the Cucumber team is either in the same time zone than us, so it's the guys from Belgium, and the rest of the team is mainly in Scotland and England, so it's 1 hour time zone difference. So yeah, we were really lucky on that because, I mean, except for lunchtime, it's fairly easy to work together. So yeah, this was not really a huge problem. And also the chance we have is the Cucumber team was already a distributed team. I'm sorry. I forgot to shut down the coffee machine, which is awfully noisy. Sorry about that. So yeah, what I was saying is the chance we have is Cucumber was a distributed team, so they already had the knowledge on how to handle people working for the most of the time remotely. We used to do some remote work. For example, for myself, I was pretty often one day at home, working from home. I know Joanne used to do the same, but it was not like the norm. It was once in a while, just, okay, I need to really focus on what I want to do and I'm going to work from home. So yeah, they've been able to share their practice, their good practice about this and help us in this transition. Maybe John can provide some example of what they taught us.
Yeah, sure. We were all quite nervous when we meet for the first time. We are like in a war room, all meeting new people. And we spent the 2 first days sharing our vision, our organization, the way we work. And little piece by piece, we started to set up some, ceremonies. For example, every day we meet with the whole team at 11:50, just before lunchtime, where we share information about how our work is progressing. We have retrospective meetings every 2 weeks when we are still trying to improve ourselves, the way we work and our organization and so on. And so we try to meet in real life every quarters to work together and have fun and create bonds, etc. And also we're using a lot of collaboration tools like Miro or Trello to share information in real time, and it really helps, especially in this time of crisis.
Super. And we had a chance to hear from Laurent in our last episode with these next 2 questions. But for Joanne and Vincent, I would love to hear, what is the most rewarding thing in your journey as an entrepreneur? And then do you have any advice for somebody who's looking to start a new software company today? So I will ask Joanne to begin with that answer.
Sure. Yeah, for me, the most rewarding thing was that time at the Eurostar conference when we used to attend as a sponsors. And I don't remember which edition it was, but suddenly a group of people just came to me and say, you know, we really love your product, what you're doing, what is your vision, please keep up the good work. And it was really great to hear that from an actual customers. The thing I learned and that really helped is don't hesitate to speak about your ideas, because when they are stuck in your head, they are just ideas and they're not doing anything, they are useless. So my advice would be to speak about your ideas and test them as soon as possible. Maybe it's terrible and you will just avoid, you know, losing time and money, but maybe your idea will trigger something in your interlocutor mind and you will come after with a better idea that will really help people.
Right, if you can't have success if you never try in the first place.
Exactly.
Super. Vincent, how about you? Advice and what's been rewarding about your journey?
So for the reward, I won't copy Johan, but I could. The same kind of idea where I really loved having feedback from people. It was one of the first time customers were contributing to some of the open source code we do. So it was on HipTest Publisher, and people liked the product, wanted to use it, and they spent some time coding stuff instead of asking us to do it. So really contributing, they wanted to get involved in the tool, so providing their own ideas or providing support for new test languages and stuff like that. And that was really a cool thing. Like, okay, it's not simply someone saying, hey, I need this feature. It's, hey, I made this feature for you. Can you integrate it? And it's really cool. But I'm also a big lover of open source, so that helps. And for the advice, you should find a Laurent P. Not ours, because we still use it, him. But yeah, I would say that, yeah. The thing with Laurent is it's someone that has a really great vision of the market and that also knows how a company is supposed to run. For example, for myself, I don't have neither of those two qualities. I do good code, I have good ideas, but this is something that lacks for me. And I think, yeah, you need three things to make a company. Someone that will understand the market, someone that will know how to run the company, and well, people that are going to be able to deliver the product. And if you don't have those three things, you won't get really far. And I've learned a lot during those years, like, okay, how does really a company work? How does it grow and stuff like that? And I was really more than glad to have Laurent here on the way, because to be honest, I wouldn't do that alone under any circumstance. It was really great to to see it done, but yeah, like simply talking about the acquisition by SmartBear, yeah, no, I think I would have been scared to death when people from SmartBear came and said, hey, we want to buy your company. I guess I would have rolled somewhere under a table and hide myself. So yeah, it's being able to find someone that, yeah, know this kind of thing. And that's really, really, really important, I think. But
Super.
don't steal our Laurent P, because once again, we use it. So I'm pretty sure there is other ones that are available.
Right, have a great leader with great vision who's done it before and
Yeah.
can help with some confidence that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and the really beneficial part was that I was able to focus on the things I know how to do. Like just recalling, like when we started the company, we won, how do you call that? Yeah, everyone proposed the ideas and you can get some prize money there. So that was great. And the thing I discovered is you can use this prize to generate new loans to start your company. And that's the kind of thing no one tells you in real life. And yeah, so that's the kind of thing he knew, and that were more than useful. So yeah, having good advice is more than important. Hope that's clear.
Yes, that's super. Well, thank you both so much for your insights and for telling a little bit about your story. And to our listeners today, we hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about HipTest, Cucumber Studio, and what it's like being acquired by SmartBear. So thank you, and stay tuned for our next episode of Founder Series.